Good morning, Mount Olive. We'd like to give you a devotion this morning and start it off with a good story. There was an elderly lady who was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and she knew she had about 3 weeks to live. She invited her pastor over for a piece of pie. She begins to explain to him what song she would like to be sung, what verses she would like to have read, and who could read a few things here or there. As the pastor thought the conversation was over, he got up to leave, but she reached up and grabbed him by the arm and said, "Pastor, wait, there's one more thing. When they put me in my casket, I want them to put a fork in my right hand." And the pastor looked at her confused, and she said, "Because you see, Pastor, every social function I've been to or church dinner, when the main course was over and they began to pick up the main dish, someone would always lean over and look at me and say, 'Keep your fork, the best is yet to come.' And then immediately following would be a nice piece of chocolate pie or apple pie that I would enjoy immensely. So when they ask you, Pastor, why there's a fork in my right hand, I want you to tell them, because she knows through Jesus the best is yet to come." That's hope, a confident expectation that the best is yet to come. This morning, we'd like to talk about hope in the Christmas story. This week in devotions, you're going to get Christmas in the Old Testament. Christmas in the Old Testament. And what I'm going to share with you today is the hope of Christmas. And so as we look at the scriptures in Isaiah 8, and that should be verse 19, we know this, that the nation of Israel is about to be invaded by the Assyrians. They were very brutal people. And so they're living in a very hard time in their nation. That's kind of a connection, isn't it? And so as we read what is said here, and that's verse 19, it says, "And when they shall say unto you, seek unto them that have familiar spirits, and unto wizards that peep and mutter, should not a people seek unto their God, for the living to the dead?" And then skip to verse 22. "And they shall look into the earth, and behold trouble and darkness, dimness of anguish, and they shall be driven to darkness." And notice the key word there, darkness. Darkness always has two references: to live in ignorance or to live in evil. And so what he's saying here about the nation is they're going deeper and deeper and deeper into their darkness, into darkness. There's no light as a nation. And so he says, and as they go into their darkness, they're consulting mediums and magicians. He says they're looking towards the earth. They're looking to human resources to try to fix the world. They're looking to the experts, the mystics and the scholars and the philosophers for their solutions. Yes, they say, we are in darkness, but if we bind together as one government, as one people, then we surely can overcome the darkness ourselves. People are saying the same thing today. They're looking to the state. They're looking to the marketplace. They're looking to technology. They're looking to the experts. They're looking to all that man has available at their hands. They're looking to the institutions of this nation. We're looking at these things and we're saying, surely we can overcome. Surely we can overcome the darkness. But what we're finding is we're going deeper and deeper and deeper in darkness. Because as the Bible says in verse 19, shouldn't the people seek their God in darkness? And so here comes the Christmas message. In the midst of the darkness, God's going to give us Christmas light, the light of hope. Look at what he says. The promise of Jesus in Matthew 1. "For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, the Son of God. And the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful." That's excellent. It's magnificent. He is magnificent. He is the counselor. He is our great advisor, our great comforter. He's the mighty God, the all-powerful one. He is the everlasting Father, separate from time and human events. He'll never be destroyed or taken away. He is the Prince of Peace. You see, the announcement of the babe in a manger is the Christmas story. And the Christmas story tells us in the midst of the greatest darkness, God has the light of hope. Through Jesus, that babe in a manger, he has brought not only to that nation of Israel, but to our nation and to our lives, that no matter how dark it gets, we look to him, and he is the light of hope. remember that this morning. And as you see the Christmas lights, and I believe that's the great thing about Christmas light, is that in the midst of the darkness of this world, in the midst of the darkness of our trials and tribulations, we can always look to Jesus and find the hope that the best is yet to come. For we know that all things work together for good to them who love God and are called according to his purpose. Mount Olive Church, we hope you have a blessed day. Christmas in the Old Testament, the light, the Christmas light of hope. And I've got us a light right here, the Christmas light of hope. Be reminded that Jesus brings us hope.